Happy Monday. Welcome to another sneak preview. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
Caleb Boucher.
And today we're discussing the remake of West Side Story briefly. We could not find Red Rocket, regrettably, and The Unforgivable and Encounter are getting appalling reviews, so we really didn't want to bother. We're at that point in the show where our time is valuable and we want to use it wisely. Still, in honor of Encounter, we'll be doing a countdown of our top 5 favorite alien horror movies. However, in the interest of variety, we are striking Alien, Predator, and The Thing from consideration. We all know those are the best, so there really isn't any contest. Like, you really want to hear us talk about how much we love Alien for like the third week in a row.
Yeah, I remember when I made my list, I wrote those films down, but then I wrote some other ones down. I was like, I don't want to talk about these films again. I was like, I know we have some stuff cooked up. I'm not going to say in details, but we got some stuff cooked up for Predator anyway. So you guys are going to get plenty of that coming up. And we've talked about Alien ad nauseum on this fucking show, and same with The Thing. So it's like those are like, I don't think we've done full episodes on Alien or Thing, or we've done a full episode on one. I can't remember.
Filmgazm has done Alien, The Thing, and Aliens.
Okay, so see, yeah, we've covered plenty of ground, and not saying these won't pop up in another list down the line. Who knows? I just, for sake of variety, was like, I'm not going to talk about those.
Yeah.
I picked other films.
I love that we're doing this now, and yet a few weeks ago, you gave me shit for cutting The Shining out of my psychological horror countdown on Oscar Sunday.
I didn't give you shit.
Yeah, you did. You and Austin both gave me kind of a like, should we have done that kind of thing. I remember that. And I remember thinking like, well, maybe I should have done. There was a look.
I mean, that's good on me. I got you paranoid, so I'll just keep it up.
The point is, I was ahead of the curve on that, and now we're doing it, and it's a good idea, I think, because we're gonna do a list of the top 5 alien horror films. Of course, it's gonna be fucking Alien, because it is the ultimate alien horror movie. But there's also other films that's I think are worth shouting out that we can kind of do. There's like Alien and The Thing are up there, just kind of untouchable, and then there's a top 5.
Yeah.
So good. Going forward, we'll probably be doing a lot more of that.
I'm gonna try to vary it up where I can, especially give shout out to other shit that we don't talk about as much.
Yeah, exactly. But before we get into that, let's see what happened last week in film.
Last week in film.
Trailers first. We got 2 to talk about today. First, we got the second trailer for The Matrix Resurrections, which hits theaters Max on December 22nd. And the more I'm seeing about this, the more excited I'm getting, which is nice.
I'm still not super excited. Like, I saw this trailer. I'm still not super excited. Like, it just has a lot to do with the fact that, like, when it comes to the Wachowskis, I only really like their first Matrix movie. I didn't care for the sequels. I didn't care for any of the movies they did after that. I know they're like Cloud Atlas is like the most loved or hated one they've done since, and I'm definitely on the hated side with that film. Like, I just could not stand that film. So it's a lot to do with like, between like the sequels and their post Matrix work, it's just like it's hard for me to get excited. I know only one of the Wachowskis is involved, but it's really hard for me to get excited for this. I wasn't begging for a Matrix. It's cool that Keanu's come back and doing this, but I wasn't begging for this.
Fair enough. I've got a soft spot for the Matrix sequels. The more I watch those, the more on board I get. And with this one, this looks intriguing. Looks like they might, he might. I think Lana is doing this one. Lana Wachowski.
I want to say Lana.
And she looks like she's gonna right some of the wrongs, maybe. There's also kind of a computer reboot thing going on here. It looks like Jonathan Groff might be playing like a new kind of Agent Smith, which is interesting, although I was really hoping for a Hugo Weaving cameo. I guess we'll see. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because I trust Keanu Reeves' judgment at this point.
I'll say, sorry, I'll say this. Like, I'm not going to theaters to see it. Like, as weird as that is to say, because it's like you would think Matrix it lends itself to a theater experience. Nah, I'll look if I watch it and like Josh wants to watch it with me, I'll put it on HBO here at my house. Like, I'm not going out of my way to the theater to see it.
I am. The first movie I ever saw at the Alamo Drafthouse was The Matrix Reloaded when I was 7. And I don't remember the experience that much, but I remember thinking like, I can get food at the movies. Oh my God. So I never got to see The Matrix on the big screen. So this is going to be my opportunity to do that. So we'll see. Next up, we also got the first trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which comes out April 8th. Thankfully, they don't have to shelve it for a few months while they tweak the design this time. In fact, this time, I don't know much about Sonic. I know that this time we're getting Tails and Knuckles, and I guess fans are psyched about that. So good for them.
I'm actually really psyched for this movie. The first, I don't know if you've seen the first one. It's actually really, really good. I do recommend that one. They did a good job of finding a way to somehow make a story out of like a game series that isn't known for its fucking story. And kind of making this really fun movie that honored the games. And Jim Carrey was like, it felt like a comeback for him. Really enjoyed seeing him in that role. And it looks like he's going even further with it in the sequel. He's becoming much more of Dr. Robotnik. And I don't know if you saw Knuckles is being voiced by Idris Elba. So like, I'm really pumped because I really like the first one. It looks like they're going to go for it even more with this sequel. So, and you're right, they don't have to shelve it because they got the design down. So I'm excited. Like I said, really enjoyed the first one. I think this one will be just as good, if not better.
Well, good for you. I'm sure when that one comes out, maybe I'll see it. Depends on what else is coming out that weekend or what we got planned for the show. Maybe I'll watch the first one. I don't know. I didn't grow up with Sonic. I don't have any affinity for Sonic. I know nothing about the world. So I'm not really clamoring for it. It didn't come out on PlayStation. I didn't play it as a kid.
Wow.
I only had one system. I didn't have Nintendo. I didn't have Xbox. I had a PlayStation, so I played PlayStation stuff. And that hasn't changed. That's all for trailers. Now, casting. Tom Holland has announced he will be playing stage and screen icon Fred Astaire in an upcoming biopic. Apparently, he's been working on his tap dancing. It's a Sony-produced thing. He's Sony's golden boy right now. So they're casting him in all sorts of shit. So we're getting a Fred Astaire movie with Tom Holland playing him. I know you probably don't care, but I'm excited.
I don't care. I will say I do generally wish the best for him because it seems like he's kind of having some like road bumps with like outside of Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
It a lot because I know he's so funny. He kind of has a baby face. I think is like I know one thing people keep pointing out, and I know for me like I can at least speaking on behalf of the Uncharted movie, it's not even that like him as Nathan Drake bugs me. I think he'll actually probably ace it if anything, considering who Nathan Drake is in the game. It's just like the movie itself doesn't look that great to me. So it's like,
my beef with Uncharted is Mark Wahlberg. Like I would not have cast him as Sully at all.
Yeah, like I remember when they announced Tom Holland. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, if you're going for a younger Nathan Drake, I can see it. Yeah, I can be down for that. Which they obviously are. But then when they announced like Mark Wahlberg as Sully, I was like, that's not who I would have known.
I would have cast like Jeff Bridges.
That one would have been good. Any older actor would work. Like, I don't know. It's just like not Mark Wahlberg. Like he didn't leap out to me as Sully.
He doesn't really leap out to me at all, honestly. But yeah, Tom Holland. Cherry sucked. Chaos Walking was a dud. But Spider-Man has worked for him, and we announced last week that he did sign on for 3 more movies. So we're getting a lot more Spider-Man from him, and I really hope this works out. Fred Astaire, big shoes to fill, big tap shoes to fill. And
I will say most of these films that like have not done good have not been his. Like it has not because of him. From what I hear, he's good in these movies. They're just not good movies.
Harry, I just think he was trying way too hard to not like to be everything opposite of Spider-Man. He was trying so hard to be something else that it came across as insincere. And the movie was like, it was trying to be a war movie. It was trying to be a drug movie. It was trying to be a coming of age movie. It was just too much. And I don't know. I hope he has better luck with his projects in the future.
Oh yeah, because I mean, yeah, he says on Spider-Man, but eventually the Spider-Man role is going to someone else is eventually going to take it. You know that character is going to live much longer than any actor. So, like, I genuinely hope he does get lucky. I think he's very outside. I do think he's a genuinely talented actor. He seems like a nice guy. I watched, based off your and Josh's recommendation, I did watch the Hot Ones that he was on. He seems like a genuinely good guy. So like. I really do wish the best for him and hope he can find like good work outside of Spider-Man.
I'm sure he will. It'll just, there's always a couple roadblocks, transitioning from icon to lesser, I don't want to say lesser work, but like more indie work, I guess. It's never going to happen immediately. You got to find your footing, and he'll find it. I'm sure he will.
Mm-hmm.
Florence Pugh, Rami Malek, and Benny Safdie have all been cast in Christopher Nolan's upcoming biopic, Oppenheimer, set for release next year, I believe. Might have been 2023. I don't remember. It was 2023?
It's 2023.
Okay, so not next year. No. I love that you're like hate following this movie.
I think it's like July 23rd or some bullshit like that.
Oh boy. So yeah, they're joining. I think Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr. I think Matt Damon was in there. So this is shaping up to be quite an impressive cast.
Can't wait to not watch this at the theaters because fuck you, Christopher Nolan.
I get it, but this is it's a biopic of the guy who built the atom bomb. Like I want to see this. I want to know that. I want to see that story. But I also really fucking hate his list of demands. And he's a child, and I don't like supporting that, but I want to see this movie.
I can easily Google or read a book on Oppenheimer. I don't need to watch the movie. It's fine.
There is I know I've talked about the Time Suck podcast on this show before, one of the shows. There is an episode on the Manhattan Project you could check out. That was really good. But
wow, there's so many options there in this movie.
It's not just about learning the story. It's about seeing the performances and how this film is structured. I want to see that. I want to see Cillian Murphy play Robert Oppenheimer. Like, yeah, I'm gonna see it. I'm not gonna be proud of it, but I'm gonna see it.
You do that. You sell out like that.
I feel like you're like a striking union worker, like throwing a can at me for being like a scab. It's like 1920s, and you're just like scab. Fuck you.
Pretty much. Look, man, I know for a fact Emily Blunt's in this movie, and we all know how much I crush on her. Still not seeing it in theaters.
What happened to separating the men from the work? What happened to that?
I do separate, and I'll watch it when it goes on to like streaming or DVD. Then I'll watch it. I'm just not seeing it in theater. I'm not giving him my theater money because he made such a big deal. But I'll give him my rental money. That he's going to be pissed off about.
Fine. Fair enough. I guess I'll talk about that one alone that week.
So see, I'm so separating, so I'm still going to watch it, just not the way that he intends. That's how I'm fighting this, sir. All right? No.
Shame he has no negative reviewed movies, or else you could have a ball on our other show we'll be announcing shortly.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping maybe Tenet would be the one. Apparently, just having his name just means we're all gonna suck his dick on a movie. But I haven't seen Tenet yet, so I can't say too much about it myself.
Person who is very proud about not sucking any filmmaker's dick, literally or figuratively. I thought Tenet wasn't terrible. It was cool visually. The performances were good. The story makes no goddamn sense, but I expected that.
I'll probably hate it then, because I absolutely hated Dunkirk. Like I fucking hated Dunkirk.
That's a shame. I remember when we went and saw Interstellar. It was like a special, like 35 millimeter print, and we were both so excited, and we were both like, "This was amazing!" And I remember that. And you were so full of joy and life. What happened?
Nolan was acting like a baby then. Like I could get excited. I was like, "Oh, sweet new Nolan movie," and it was like, "All right, let's check it out." And I do like Interstellar. I still like Interstellar. I remember when I finally watched Dunkirk. So I actually don't know why I didn't see it. No, it came out when I was like in and out of sea, so that's why I didn't see it in theaters. So then when I did watch it, and I was like really excited too. I was like, "Oh my god, Dunkirk, here we go." I just remember going through that whole movie thinking, "This is fucking stupid. God damn it, I hate this. So fucking bored right now."
I'm sorry to hear that. Well, moving on. John Legend is involved in Universal's upcoming Phantom of the Opera reboot, titled simply Phantom. Odds are this is probably not part of Universal's new Dark Universe, but one can dream. Phantom of the Opera, famous Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. That's probably what they're doing again if John Legend is involved. Apparently, this one's going to be set in New Orleans, kind of have a jazzy feel to it. So they're shaking things up.
Makes sense. Stop John Legend. I thought he's the one married to Chrissy Teigen, right?
Yes.
I thought they were both on like some weird hot water things for fucking shit on Instagram, on Twitter, or like cyberbullying shit. I thought they were both kind of in hot water.
I think she was. I don't know if he was involved in that, but I could be wrong.
I don't think he was involved. I just thought it was like one of those like even he was kind of laying low just because they're married. I don't know. So many people are coming under hot water and it's weird. But yeah, I heard about this and I'm 50-50 on it. Like they're clearly like Universal's clearly like happy with what, Invisible Man, and seeing that, they can finally start moving forward on these projects that got kind of probably delayed because of COVID. But at the same time, like I got the feeling that this wasn't part of what was set up with the Invisible Man with Blumhouse. So I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, Phantom of the Opera is a weird bit of property. Like there's the horror Phantom of the Opera, and then there's the musical Phantom of the Opera. And that's the one that tends to get more attention and more like redos. Which makes sense, that pulls in a wider audience. And as much as I'd like to see the Phantom go back to the Dark Universe, this is probably a smarter move for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still watch it. I'll give it a shot.
Cool. Yeah, me too. Next up, Marvel has confirmed a sequel to Shang-Chi is in early development, and Sony has confirmed Venom 3 is also in early development. No surprise here. Shang-Chi and Venom Let There Be Carnage were big hits by today's standards, and a sequel is a no-brainer. But I'm wondering, like Shang-Chi 2, like what's going to happen there? And Venom 3, is that going to be the one where Venom fights Spider-Man, or is Spider-Man 4 going to be the one where Venom fights Spider-Man?
Who knows now? I don't know if you saw in the report, the guy who is writing, directing Shang-Chi 2, who did Shang-Chi 1, he's also doing a show for the MCU on Disney Plus. So that was like buried in it, but he's doing the Shang-Chi sequel in a show for Disney Plus.
Well, I wonder what that show is going to be.
It didn't say. They just said it's an MCU show for the Disney Plus.
I wonder if it's going to be like the adventures of the Mandarin throughout, like mankind's history.
It's just centered around Awkwafina's character to just troll everyone.
I'd watch that too. She's hilarious.
Yeah, I would too. But
I think Smart Money's probably Shang-Chi's sister running the 10 Rings. That's probably what the show will be about.
That's what I'm thinking. I feel like because they left enough dangling plot threads at the end of the first movie to like the movie can go in one direction, the show can go in another. So
I read a cool fan theory that the 10 Rings are actually they belonged to the Heralds of Galactus, and now that they're activated, like he's on his way. So that's kind of cool. I wonder what that'll mean something.
We will find out. No, I mean, look, I'm excited. I really like Shang-Chi, so I'm excited for a sequel. And Venom Let There Be Carnage was to me everything I kind of wanted Venom to be. Like they just streamlined everything and honed in on what works. So yeah, I'm down for Venom 3.
Yeah, me too. I don't think Carnage is gone. I think he's still in Venom, just kind of bide his time. We'll see him again.
Just waiting.
Yeah. A bit of sad news. A couple unfortunate deaths this week I wanted to talk about. Oscar-nominated director Lena Mueller has died at 93 years old. She made film history in 1977 when she became the first woman nominated for Best Director at the Oscars for her film Seven Beauties, which also earned her a nomination for Best Original Screenplay. Had not seen Seven Beauties, but a trailblazer like her couldn't not give her a shout out. So rest in peace, Lena Mueller.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yes. And also Oscar-nominated actress Cara Williams has died at 96 years old. Williams was nominated for her performance in 1958's The Defiant Ones, a film that Austin and I talked about earlier this year on Oscar Sunday. Williams also appeared in the series Pete and Gladys, as well as her own sitcom, The Cara Williams Show, in the mid-'60s. Yeah, she was good. Her scene in The Defiant Ones is one of the best in that weirdly paced film. But yeah, rest in peace, Cara Williams as well.
R.I.P.
Finally, I wanted to end on some positive news here. Kevin Feige has confirmed that we are going to see Daredevil in the MCU in the near future, and he will indeed be played by Charlie Cox, who played the character on the Daredevil Netflix series for 3 seasons, as well as the spin-off miniseries The Defenders. So Charlie Cox is back. When that happens remains to be seen, but we are going to see him again, which is great.
Yeah, that made me happy. Like it, because if there's one thing I feel like you could take from like that whole Netflix era shows is that like they got a lot of really good actors involved in those characters. And I know there's been the rumor mill surrounding that they are keen on keeping John Berthal. I'm hoping that with this announcement, Charlie Cox, that does mean that like it will like get confirmed, like they're like wanting to keep John Berthal and that he stays on Punisher. Those are the 2 guys I want to see keep going in their respective characters.
Well, I feel like the way Spider-Man No Way Home is kind of, picking and choosing what fans liked from previous Spider-Man movies. I think that they're going to be doing that for the Netflix series as well, grabbing actors and, that fans really appreciated. I think, the fact that Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil opens the door for Kristen Ritter, Mike Coulter, John Bernthal, Vince D'Onofrio. All these actors who possibly might want back in are going to get back in.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. Again, they were all, to me, really good. Like, I know out of all of them, like, Chris Murray kind of gets, like, the most flack. So I know a lot of people, like, very, like, love it, hate it with her show. I was a big fan of Jessica Jones. I thought it was actually really good and different. I really liked her in the role. And, yeah, Mike Coulter, I know he's kind of doing that show Evil right now. He's, like, one of the main characters. But if he can come back to play Luke Cage somehow, I'm down.
Yeah. The cool thing about it, like the MCU is like, yeah, it's like a decade-long commitment, but not all the time. I mean, you're filming, you film an Iron Man movie, you go film Doolittle, you go back and you film something else. Like, it's just the way they do it is very smart.
Yeah. So, like I said, awesome to get Charlie Cox back. Hoping to hear some of these other actors will be coming back in their roles because, like I said, I really liked a lot of what they were doing in those shows. Minus like how like you could argue the shows didn't need to be 13 episodes long and other issues, but if there was one thing I did like, it was the actors. Minus fucking Iron Fist. Dear God.
I think there's one thing all the fans want is Iron Fist to be just expunged from our minds.
Yeah.
Fuck up. I don't. Ugh.
God, if anything, maybe Shang-Chi can find a way to fucking redeem that character and actually get a good actor for that role.
Yeah, I had such high hopes for the first seasons of most of those shows were so good. And then The Defenders was such a disaster. And that just made me lose like overnight interest. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. Well, dude,
I watched The Punisher. I finished that one because I really liked that. And even that, I was like, this is terrible. What they did with Jigsaw was fucking horrendous.
Oh God, and their defense of it was just like
Emotion
no,
scars. Fuck
he-
you.
he's so vain that would I was like, no, I don't care. I want Jigsaw.
I
Oh,
want
God.
Dominic West wearing 3 layers of like latex, flesh torn up. That's what I want.
Yeah, especially because I remember at the end of the first season, the way he fucked him up, I thought like, oh fuck yeah, we're gonna Jigsaw because like he fucked him up, and then that's all we got. I was like, God damn it.
If somebody like literally dragged my face across a mirror like that, like a broken mirror, completely ripped open my face, and then the surgery made me look like that, I would be fucking grateful. I'd be like, I look like a human being. Thank you so much. He looked perfectly fine. I wouldn't be pissed about that at all.
Yeah, but in all fairness, I remember like you were saying with those first seasons, man. I really liked the first season of both Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Both those first seasons kicked ass.
Yep.
Luke Cage, I liked the first half. The moment Mahershala Ali, there you go. Sorry, I fucked that up because I was saying it the whole way. Mahershala Ali. The moment his character got killed, Conmouth, like to me, that whole second half just is not nearly as good. Like he was such a great villain and he's such a good actor that it was just like, okay, I don't care anymore. And Iron Fist, like, oh God, it was like I powered through all 13 episodes. It was such like it was like the next day would hit and I'd be like, oh God, I'm only on episode 7. Oh God.
The first half of Daredevil's second season with introducing Frank Castle and Kingpin in jail, that was great. The second the Hand became the overpowering thing in all of these shows, it just fell apart.
Yeah, that fell apart, which is weird though, because then like the third season of Daredevil was consistently good.
I haven't watched it yet. I don't really have any plans to.
Oh, the whole third season's good. So they have a whole like one take prison escape scene, like when like Kingpin releases all the inmates and like Daredevil's in there, and he has to get out. It's really cool.
Isn't Bullseye in that season?
Yeah, he's really good too. Actually, the guy that got to play Bullseye was a really kick-ass fight scene in like an office with him and Daredevil. Like I said, the third season was like they legit like corrected everything from season 2. I made the whole season worth it. So I'm with you. I remember the whole like first half of season 2 when it was like him and John Bertha. I was like Punisher. I was in. Like the moment John Bertha called him Red, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, here we go. Like, and yeah, the moment they switched off him to do the Hand, I was just like, all right, I don't care anymore. This isn't as entertaining.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I wonder how much, if any of that is going to end up being MCU canon for these guys. Probably nothing. I imagine it'll be a clean slate. But it'll just be cool to see them again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what happened last week in film. Always cool, this segment. It's always a variety. You never know what's going to happen. So this week, I saw the release of 4 movies, 2 of which were getting panned, and we didn't bother with it. One of which we couldn't find, and one of which only I had interest in. So West Side Story. Yeah, let me say a little bit about that. I feel like I've been talking about this constantly. Like, we just did the Oscar Sunday on the original one, and I've had so much West Side Story happening to me lately. It'll be nice to put it to bed.
I've had 0 because I could care less about this fucking movie.
I know. So first off, this is a remake of a 10-time Oscar-winning American classic, which you've got to have some sack if you're going to do that. If you're going to remake a movie this beloved. And Spielberg was maybe the only director with the clout to pull this off, because the West Side Story remake like outshines the original movie in every way, which I did not think was going to happen, because I don't really like the original West Side Story. I think it's too long. I think it's dull. I don't like the brown face. I think the songs don't make sense in the moment. Like the moments they choose to have music don't add up. You know what I mean? Like they don't pick their moments right. And I can't take them seriously as a street gang when they're prancing around. Like it's ridiculous. The new one was way more sincere. Actually made the gangs threatening as legit like street gangs. The chemistry was better, I thought, among the actresses. The actors and actresses, they also used actual Hispanic actors, which was nice, not just Natalie Wood and George Chakiris in terrible brown face. And there was just this intensity. I was in. I thought the songs were like more powerful. I don't know. Something about this one just was better. I gave it an 8. I recommend it. It's an enjoyable time at the movies. It's 2.5 hours long, so prepare for that. But it is a good movie, and I think this is going to be making a splash come award season. So there it is, West Side Story.
I'm glad you liked it. I'm not seeing this movie.
You got to widen your palette, man. You can't just cut off musicals.
I do watch musicals. I've seen Anna and the Apocalypse.
Not just horror musicals, ordinary musicals.
No, those aren't fun. Horror musicals are where it's at.
Okay. You know that same guy who wrote West Side Story wrote Sweeney Todd, right?
Okay. I like Sweeney Todd. Doesn't mean I'm going to like West Side Story.
Might. There's violence. There's a rumble.
It's PG-13 Spielberg, based off a 50s movie. You can't try to tell me those are violent.
Movie. It's a 60s movie.
60s, whatever.
Matters.
You can't convince me that there's violence.
Well, not in the original, but in this one, there's like actually quite a bit of violence. Like he actually did, like it feels real this time.
Someone's head get ripped off, eyes gouged out, penis cut off. Come on.
You guys get stabbed, and another guy gets like shot.
Wooden broom handle through the asshole and out the penis hole.
Nope. A lot of hot Latinas dancing around. Does that help?
I can watch porn. It's fine.
Okay. I tried. Okay. West Side Story. If musicals are your thing, go see it. If not, don't. I don't need to tell you that. So, in honor of a movie we didn't watch this week, which is kind of funny, and I don't even think Encounter is a horror movie. I think it's like a sci-fi drama. But fuck it.
They got advertised as a horror film, and everyone's like, it's not that at all.
Well, we decided, we're doing these every week now. It's more fun for us to not just cram a bunch of movies we don't care about into 3 days. We'd rather just see what we want to see and then do some spontaneous shit, which I think is working out. So
I didn't have to watch West Side Story, so
even if we were doing the old format, you still would have fucking gone to see West Side Story. I feel like you would have just like tried to play it off like you did. You'd have like the Wikipedia synopsis up, and you'd be like, "Yeah, how about that part with that guy?"
I would have had that reviews, like the whole 9 put up just so I could talk about.
Oh. So anyway, we decided alien horror. Horror movies revolving around aliens, not just sci-fi horror, alien horror. Because there's something so, I don't know, creepier to me personally. Aliens and ghosts is what freaks me out when it comes to horror. Maybe it's the possibility of, both being possibly real. It gets under my skin. Maybe it's, the creativity they're allotted. I don't know. But, first thing that ever scared the shit out of me was an alien movie. And no, Evolution is not on my top 5. It's a horror movie to me only. I know that.
I'm glad you do.
Yeah. But, this is just something fun we thought we'd do. We're really just killing time till Spider-Man. So let's kill some more time. Prepared our top 5 favorite alien horror films. So why don't you start us off?
I will. Also, probably. Well, they got a sequel. That's the most recent one, but nonetheless. Also, number 5, I picked the film that still blows my mind that you didn't like the first one, but you like the second one for it's the exact same fucking movie, and that is A Quiet Place.
Okay.
I still don't fathom how you don't like this one, but the second, which is literally the same movie, you like.
Not the same movie.
It's
There
the
was
same.
more in it.
There's the same amount in it.
There's more. You had the opening that like showed how it happened. You had the whole
You didn't need
village.
that.
You had like the different story converging. I thought the second one was brilliant.
So you had the boat people, which is like every other post-apocalyptic movie that has a tribe of weirdos. You had an opening that you could have just easily inferred in the first movie because it doesn't take that hard of imagination.
I don't infer shit. When your movie, I want to know what happened. God damn, I will not apologize for that.
I'm just saying, your reasoning is just not sound. But hey, sound, see, they help by sound. See what I did there? But the first Quiet Place, this is an excellent take on alien horror in that they really did out fucking this like hell of a job with the sound department in this movie and how like you absolutely had to be dead quiet or these scenes will get you. There's a lot of great scenes where like I think one of my favorites is actually when she loses her hearing aid, the daughter, and the alien pops up behind her and you just no sound. You just kind of see it come up on her and you're like, shit, hurry up, like it's right behind you. And her, her hearing fucks up and you can see it reacting to the hearing aid, but she can't because she can't fucking hear. So, a lot of really cool scenes, a lot of tense scenes. I so stand with that fucking birthing scene. It's probably one of the most intense fucking moments in recent horror. Like, god damn. Yeah, it really kind of surprised me with John Krasinski. You have the guy from The Office that was kind of doing some stuff with like Jack Ryan and the fucking Benghazi movie, 13 Hours, I think is what it was called. And I was like, okay, he's doing some cool stuff. And then when I heard he, kind of like Jordan Peele, right? I heard he was doing this horror film. I was like, really? Dude from The Office, Krasinski? Isn't he doing like action? Like, what's going on here? And he delivered to me a very excellent, well done film that had a just as good sequel come out recently because they're damn near the exact same movie.
Good for you. I disagree. I don't care for the first Quiet Place. I think it's boring. I think it's pretty much that's it. It's boring. I couldn't get into it. The second one though, I was drawn in pretty quickly. I think the opening of the second one is brilliant. Just from seeing the meteor hit the earth and then just watching the carnage was so cool. And I liked, adding more characters, building the world, having them kind of, feel guilty about losing Krasinski and now kind of working towards building a better life in his name. I liked that. So agree to disagree, I guess.
Your opinion's just so wrong.
Quiet Place 2 nearly made my top 5, but I decided not to. My number 5 is goes all the way back to the 50s. A film I watched on a whim. I knew I was gonna probably like it, but god damn did I didn't expect it to be as creepy as it was. 1956's Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
The 56 version.
I have not yet seen the 70s one, so I can't judge yet, but I'm sure that'll be great. But the 50s one is a brilliant allegory for communism at a time when we're not subtle about that shit. Better dead than red and all that shit. But it's really simple. Pod people take over the world. They're taking over, people. You fall asleep, they take you over. You're an alien now, and they just want to make everybody the same. And one guy is like, no, that's wrong. You're next. And it's still great. It's still an awesome watch. Super creepy, unsettling. The way everyone just kind of moves at the same direction, like a hive mind, is unnerving. And it's a really cool movie, like really a pioneer of the subgenre. Definitely a great watch if you can stumble upon it.
Actually, I haven't seen the 56 one yet, so I haven't seen this version of the film. But I've heard like this and the 78 ones tend to be like the two I hear about the most when it comes to like the mini adaptations of this.
I've seen the 2007 one with Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig. I've seen that one, and that one is terrible.
I've heard good things about that one. I've avoided that one, but I want to do like one day like a double feature of like this one, the 78 one.
That was fun. I've got both of them. I just got to sit down and watch the 78 one. I want to see, Leonard Nimoy play somebody other than Spock. That'll be cool. I think Goldblum's in it. Donald Sutherland doing that, like, point and scream famous
Yeah,
image.
it happens at like the end of the movie.
That'll be maybe we'll throw that on the docket for next year.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a chance to watch it. That's why when a certain movie you texted us about got picked, I was like, oh, finally, because I can watch it. Because I've been meaning to watch it. So
I've seen that, and I was like, I obviously you probably know, like I didn't care for it, but
I didn't know, but it doesn't surprise me.
but the second watch is important. I knew Josh was going to be like, oh my god, I was right. But more on that next month.
Yes. All right, my number 4 is one that it might be controversial now because of the director and the more recent scandal that happened with him and him not after. Mind you, after there was a big deal about him coming back and making a movie again. This is the number 4 is the Nicolas Cage starring Color Out of Space. The one, not your most traditional alien horror film. I do consider it alien horror, but it's definitely different from what you're going to get. It's because it's Lovecraft. It's based off a Lovecraft story, and like I say, different because the alien in this is not. It's not like for lack of a better term, the little green people that everyone just associates. It's a color. That's what the color is like the enemy, hence title. And I really like how this movie plays with your mind. Like it starts out like it presents you the family, kind of what they're doing in the moment that asteroid hits. And you don't even realize how it's already starting to affect them until like things get weird. And it has it has one of the most haunting moments to me when the son and the mom get to really know each other. For lack of a better word, that's a fucking some haunting imagery you're going to see. If you're looking for Cage freakouts, you're going to get it because I will never forget the scene where he's like yelling and throwing the dishes as he's yelling, and each dish is like a word. It's great. Yeah, I really ended up liking this movie. I've been made to pick it up. I don't have it yet. Luckily, Josh has it in his collection. But if you're definitely looking for something like different with your horror, obviously Lovecraft flair, go for it. Like I said, I know the director he had allegations which Stanley prop up, and he is in hiding, for lack of a better word. But again, if you can separate art from artists, it's a really good movie.
I watched this last year, and I remember not digging it that much, but it was mostly a pacing thing. Another film I'd like to try again.
You just don't like good movies.
Well, we have a podcast, so I can talk this shit through. I watched that movie outside the show, so I didn't have the opportunity to kind of dig into it. So you want me to try things again, bring it to the show. Speaking of the show, my number 4 is an episode we did a few months ago. Hilarious horror comedy by James Gunn, 2006's Slither. This movie's a delight. An episode that ended up being almost 2.5 hours long just because Josh and I couldn't stop talking about like hot soda. It was an interesting episode.
That was some warm Mr. Pibb he was having. And I still have my questions about why he's doing Mr. Pibb and not Dr. Pepper.
I don't know. But yeah, this one's, full on gross out body horror and just some remarkably freaky visuals while also being very slapstick and very down to earth and funny, as is, James Gunn's sensibilities. Definitely a fun watch. And it's got one of the best songs I've ever heard from a movie, Baby I Love You by the Yahoos, which is the end credit song. And the lyric, the chorus of the song is Baby I Love You, just leave me the fuck alone, which is the best. Like I've never heard a We Need Space song. And it fits the situation so perfectly. Yeah, I have a lot of good things to say about Slither.
Well, you can continue saying those good things because we have overlap, but you're lucky because it's actually my number 3, so it's my next one anyway. Is also Slither. I'm with you, man. This movie, before I even really knew who James Gunn was, I wanted to like check this out because I had heard about it. So I'd like it was one of the many films back when we were, had Netflix DVD and started going to the video store. My parents had it with like 2 DVDs, so they would always pick something like we could all watch, and then I had second pick on that other DVD. And that was one that I had snuck in there real quick. I was like, oh well, okay, we picked the family one. I want to watch this, and I put it up there. And I just fell in love with this movie. It's like you said, man. It's funny. It's horrific. It's gross, but in like a good way. Like there's a lot of goo, if you will. Not even like blood, just goo. It's quite something. And it has like, I know there are a lot of them are James Gunn staples, but God, does this man know how to get cast? I know we've talked about it before with him, but the cast for this is like a lot of people. You'll be like, oh hey, it's Nathan Fillion. Oh hey, it's Michael. Like you just like, there are a lot of good people, and they're all great. This movie it's just so fucking good. Like I said, I have questions. I guess it makes sense that the mayor's doing Mr. Pibb because the mayor's an asshole. So of course he'd get the second rate soda instead of like, the good stuff. But yeah, actually I remember when my last day on my ship, like when I was doing my duty days, when I would be like stuck on the boat all day and all night, I bring my laptop to watch movies. And it was my last duty day, and they were like, hey, pick some movies. I remember I actually picked this one. It was like the last movie I watched. And of course, this one guy, he just would not shut the fuck up because he didn't like horror to begin with. And he just kept me, he was loud. He would get on my nerves. And he'd just be like, just turn it off. It's not even like, it's just gross, dude. Just turn it off. Like, and I was like, shut the fuck up, I'm watching a movie. I watched the whole thing. I didn't care. I was like, I'm watching this whole fucking movie.
Some people are just pricks. Some people just don't like people to enjoy things. I mean, at least, I don't like A Quiet Place, but I don't try to take it away from you.
This is true. Admittedly, I was kind of fed up because it was like between him and their guy, it was always a bitch trying to find a movie because they were just very picky about what they wanted to watch. And I was like, this is my last duty. Fuck off. I'm watching what I want. I want to watch this.
Nice. Yeah. Slither's a funny movie. Definitely. You combine that and Super, and you totally get why James Gunn was offered Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, I love is that the slugs pop up in Guardians.
Yeah, they're in the collector's collection.
Yeah, so there's a horrific planet out there of slugs.
Freaky. I would love if it'll never happen, but like in Guardians 3, if like it opens like them trying to escape that planet and like they fight the slugs for a bit. It'd be fun.
If you could find a way to make it PG-13, I'm sure you could get away with it.
Okay. Yeah, cool. I figured that was going to be on your list too. My number 3 is a film that really got under my skin. One of the creepiest alien abduction movies I've ever seen. It kind of combines alien movies, but with like the tone of like a haunted house kind of thing. It's called 2013's Dark Skies. This movie is so freaky. You don't even know it's aliens till like 45 minutes in, and then you're like, oh, this is what it is. Like you think this house is haunted, and then they're like, no, you've been chosen by the Greys. And they go talk to J.K. Simmons, and he's like, I'm so sorry, but once you've been chosen, that's it. Your family's been marked, so good luck. Like that's horrifying to be told in the movie. Like you can't beat these guys. Like this is it. You're already dead. Like that's so scary. And the actual abduction is unnerving as hell. You never see these guys. They're always like in the background, in shadow. They're just the traditional thin body, big old head. You never see their eyes. It's just the outline of a traditional alien, but the atmosphere is so unnerving. It's brilliant. Such a great movie.
Yeah, I saw this on your recommendation. I remember you were telling me about it, and I rented it, and I was like, oh, this is like you said, it's pretty. I've only seen it once, and my memory's resting on it. I do remember thinking like, yeah, it's really cool. They applied like the haunted house aesthetic to an alien film, and then like you said, the big reveal is that they're going to abduct them, and there's nothing they can do about it. So it's a very different take on alien horror, and I remember really enjoying it. I just haven't seen it since I rented it that day.
Yeah, I watched it on Netflix with my grandpa in the middle of the night, like right when it came out, and that was not smart because we live in the hill country, and it's just dark out there. Like you look outside, you can't see anything, so it's very easy to imagine the outline of an alien just standing at the door. So that freaked me out. And then I watched it again earlier this year, just for kicks, because I was like, I remember that being really good, and I was like, yep, I was right. Yep, this is still creepy.
Okay, nice. Well, I'll have to recheck it out one day.
Yeah, it's definitely one I'd love to do on the show. It's a really good movie.
I mean, that's definitely appropriate for me to check it out. So,
Oh yeah.
all right, my number two. So I guess you can say it's kind of stretching alien horror on this one. It's more of a segment, not the whole movie. But I would be remiss if I didn't include it on here. 'Cause you know how much I like this series. At least 3 out of the 4 movies now. And that would be number 2, VHS 2, the Slumber Party Alien Abduction segment. I usually, when it comes to anthologies, I gotta say, Alien's not the one I would usually go for because I just think when doing a short story on aliens is never satisfying. But this one pulls it off, and mainly because it is exactly in the title. Like it's like, you know, the setup's that it's these kids having like staying the night over. They're just supposed to be watching them, but then like she brings a boyfriend over. The boyfriend and her kind of douchey to the little brother and his friends, but the little brother and her friends are kind of like also in turn douchey. It's just like you can kind of tell it's a fun sibling rivalry, and out of fucking nowhere, like you see little hints, kind of like as it's progressing, like there might be something there. And I'll never forget that fucking scene when the alien just like, as they're arguing, the light thing happens and you see it fucking fly up into the view of the camera and scares the shit out of you. And from there, it's a fucking assault on this family, and you're just watching it happen from, again, that, you know, it being found footage from essentially a first person point of view. And it still stands as like one of my favorite segments in that, and to me, a really strong anthology film. Like VH2 is a very strong anthology film, in my opinion. And I think this was the one they ended it on, if I recall correctly. And what a hell of a way to end your fucking segment, because this just, once it gets going, it doesn't fucking stop. And it's just like you're in until they finally fucking roll those credits.
Yeah. VHS 2, I think, is the best of the franchise. There's not really a weak link in that one. And Slumber Party Alien Abduct. I don't remember the full title.
Slumber Party Alien Abduction.
Slumber Party. I wanted to say Slumber Party Massacre just out of like instinct, but Slumber Party Alien Abduction is, yeah, it's creepy. And I love a little bit where they're swimming and the camera dips into the lake and you see that fucker just swimming towards the kid. Jesus. Because at that point you don't know what's going on yet. So that's like, what was that? And yeah.
Fucking, and then they do such a good job of having them like purposely set out in like an open area. So like if you're watching this and you live in a house with like plenty of acreage and no neighbors around you, like it's extra creepy because that's like where this film takes place. All this segment takes place. So it's just like, this was a really, because like I said, it's the whole film is filled with strong segments. And I personally, my favorite segment is still the safe haven segment with the cult. Like that's a damn. But this, oh man, this is also to me a very strong segment. Like it just grips you, and like it's horrifying. It's fucking. I was a little scared when I first saw it. So
yeah, creepy shit, man. I had a feeling this was gonna pop up too. Definitely a good one. My number 2 might be a little controversial. This film isn't totally revered. A lot of people hate it. I know you don't really care for it. But it's a movie that freaked me out as a kid and continues to just give me the willies. 2002's Signs. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see right now. Yep, you don't care for this. I know that. But try to imagine 7-year-old me, fresh off Blue Monkey, going back to the movies and seeing that fucking alien for the first time and having every cell in your body freak the fuck out at the same time. And yeah, it happened again. I got dragged out of the movie theater by my dad, who had to convince me that aliens weren't real, and he didn't pull it off. But it's super creepy. Signs is terrifying because of how realistic it feels. To see a global alien invasion from the perspective of one family is really smart and creepy. And also, I love the whole crisis of faith thing, the little weird instances that happen, like the dogs are acting strange. They can hear something in the baby monitor. That part where on the news, like a bird just flies in, like into something invisible and drops dead in the middle of the sky. Like, it's all about what you don't see. You're just told about everything the whole time. And I just thought that movie was so thrilling and suspenseful and just a real masterclass in keeping the audience at the edge of their seat. And there's terrifying moments in it, like, the kid's birthday party, and when Mel Gibson wakes up to see that thing standing on his barn, and it's like a brief shot, but you just see this like 8-foot tall freaking monster. I love Signs, and I will challenge anybody. Yeah, it sucks that water kills them, but everything leading up to that was great.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I won't say there's not a lot of good moments. There's a lot of good moments in Signs. Like I said, that scene where the alien walks past during the kid's birthday party is generally terrifying. So there's no lead up to it. It's just like it happens and there's a stinger. Yeah, there's a lot of creepy imagery throughout. It's like I said, it's just for me, like the twist ending. And I know some people make the argument where like they wouldn't know, until they actually invade Earth. And I'm like, you can't tell me they didn't know in some way. Like, the whole point is that aliens are more advanced than us. Tell me they couldn't figure that shit out. But again, that's just why it's hard for me to get into. It's like that twist.
Well, it's said in the movie that these guys are probably scouts who are there to test the environment to see if it's, if it's frightening, if it's bad for the race. So these are the guys testing the waters, so to speak.
I might give it a rewatch one day. Might.
We're gonna do it on the show at some point. Like, that is Signs is a special one for me. There's so few films that have fucked me so hard it made me scream. So that's one of them. So it's gonna be talked about.
I know.
I wish you liked Signs more. Okay.
Well, if it helps, my number one, much like A Quiet Place, is a film you don't care for at all. I think you're incredibly wrong. And number one is the Vin Diesel starring Pitch Black.
I should have known.
I gave you a warning, technically. I texted you, like, there's one film you should know is going to be on my list.
I think in that moment I was like, it's probably Pitch Black. I remember thinking that, and I forgot until just now.
Well, I'm here to remind you. But unlike your wrong opinion, sir, I find this film to be just very exciting, very engaging. It has, Vin Diesel, and to me, the only role he ever has attempted. Well, I won't say the only role. I heard there's some movie he did where he has hair that people keep saying is really good in. That's all I got. But to me, he's actually trying in this. Like, you can tell you have a young actor that's trying to break it in and really cares for this character and is going for this character. And I really like the character of Riddick a lot. I think he's a badass fucking character. And like I said, I know like they kind of stumbled with the sequel, but then they came back with the third movie. Yeah, they went back to basics and back to like this format. But again, it was just because they fucked up so hard with the sequel. They were like, let's go back to what we know. And if this is successful, we'll build from there. And it ended up paying off. I think I actually just heard they're finally getting ready to like film the fourth movie. Like Vin Diesel was finally like, I guess, finding time between like, his one successful franchise. because I'm sorry, Guardians, he just has to record like 3 lines, so he's not much of a commitment to Guardians. Go fuck yourself, Vin Diesel. But in this one I really like him. It has Cole Hauser, who I also love, and I think him and Vin Diesel just played very well off each other. There's a lot of cool shots that I talked about in that when he blows that fucking candle and all the aliens are fucking surrounding him the whole night. Just cool imagery, cool movie. And yeah, I still love this movie. I will defend this movie when it comes to Vin Diesel. I won't, I understand people's Fast and Furious opinions. That's fine. I get that. But I'll defend this movie.
It's your prerogative. I don't care for this movie. Pitch Black. All of them are just kind of bleed together for me. I don't get it. Dick Riddick ain't no hero as far as I'm concerned. Whatever. It's just not my cup. I've given this film 2 chances now. I'm out. So, but you keep on loving this movie. I'm glad you have such an affinity for it.
I will, because my opinion is right.
Yeah. Okay. I made a new friend this semester in one of my classes who's one of his favorite movies is The Chronicles of Riddick.
The sequel?
Yeah. I think he told me how much he loves that movie specifically because of like the world building and like he's into like sci-fi RPGs, so he likes that movie a lot.
There's way better sci-fi films than God damn it.
We talked about a lot of them, but that was the one that started the conversation because I was like, I think I went like, really? You too? Is it me? Am I the problem?
Yeah, you are the problem. Granted, I would make the argument that like everything he likes about Chronicles is a cliche and has been done in every other sci-fi film. And what makes Pitch Black work is that you don't know that much. And that's what actually hurts Chronicles is they spend so much fucking time trying to make it into a franchise with world building, and he's in prophecies and PG-13, and I could easily argue that everything he likes is a cliche and what was completely wrong for a fucking sequel to Pitch Black, and why they had to do what they did with Riddick, like the third one, to like try to get the fans back on board with this.
You could argue that, but you're not going to.
Well, he's not here right now.
Whatever. Pitch Black. I know I'm going to hear about it for the rest of time, but I don't like it.
Well, because you're wrong. That's fine.
Check out our episode on Pitch Black, which we did earlier this year. Yeah, that's a sad episode because I feel like I broke your heart.
Yeah, because you lied to me for years.
Yep, there it is. Okay, my number one is a better movie.
I got it.
One could argue it's not Aliens, and you could be right, but I think there's enough evidence in this movie, and I think that the way the creatures are presented, I think Aliens is a good enough term for it. 2007's The Mist. Interdimensional monsters attack a small Maine town. I think Aliens is. I think it works. The Mist is a brilliant character study, a terrifying horror movie, and one of the bleakest fucking films ever made. It is such a great movie. Incredible character development. Just watching a small town slowly slip into madness over having no other options of escape. And it's got one of Stephen King's greatest villains in Mrs. Carmody, just an old woman spouting religious nonsense who slowly starts taking over this grocery store that all these people are trapped in. I love this movie to death. I think it's one of the best King adaptations ever, and a movie that just gets better every time I watch it.
Oh yeah, this is a really good movie. I mean, look, if I can have color or space, which is like the alien is a fucking color, you can have The Mist. It's fine.
Okay.
But no, this is a really good movie. I remember it took me a while to kind of come around this movie because you got like, if you don't know like what's happening at the ending, it fucking wallops you around the gut. So it's like, I remember for a while I actually kind of hated the movie. I was like, how dare you fucking give me that ending? Fuck you, movie. But then like I came around, I was like, it's a good ending. Like it's a tough ending, it's a hard ending, but it's a good fucking ending. Like it fits the story, and this movie continues to show that Frank Darabont is one of the best when it comes to King adaptations. Like the man just understands his writing and how to translate it to the screen, and he does that so well here with The Mist.
Oh, he's 3 for 3. Yeah, I think it's cool that the ending was Darabont's idea, and he actually made King admit that, like, King told Darabont, like, your ending's better, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, I love this movie. I read a really disturbing fan theory about it. I might have mentioned this on the episode of The Mist that we did on Filmgazm, but there's a theory that Mrs. Carmody was right, that the only way to get rid of the mist was to kill the boy, because as soon as he shoots the boy, the mist lifts. So was it the military, or was the sacrifice necessary? Like, who was, she might have been right.
That's a disturbing fan theory.
Yeah. Ugh, creepy. I've also heard that, like, she was possessed by Randall Flagg. I've heard that theory, all sorts of stuff. Like, King connects all of his shit. It's great. So there's probably something in there. Like, those monsters are from, Roland's world of the Dark Tower, things like that. But definitely a great movie. Super sad, super creepy, great creature design, and just some really freaky, gory moments. The whole, like, when they go to the pharmacy that's taken over by the spiders, like, good God, the squid thing in the loading dock, like, oh my God, there's so many great moments.
Yeah, they got some fucking freaky monsters, and the best part is that they don't show a lot of them. Like, they keep it very minimalistic, but what you do see is creepy.
It's just enough to keep you mesmerized, to keep you wondering what the fuck is going on. Like, clearly this is not normal. But it's just, there's rumors of army experimentation of some kind of portal up, like, in the mountains, but that's as vague as it gets. And I like that. I think it, it keeps you guessing. That was, The Mist, my number one.
Nice.
All right, cool. That was fun. Let's recap. Why don't you start?
Yeah. All right. Number 5, I had A Quiet Place, which is a fantastic movie, Connor. You know you're wrong. Number 4 is Color Out of Space. 3 is Slither. 2, VHS 2, specifically the segment known as Slumber Party Alien Abduction. And 1, also a movie you're wrong about because it's great, Pitch Black.
I love that you bookended it with films I don't care about. Well done.
You're welcome.
Number 5, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 50s one. Number 4, Slither. Number 3, Dark Skies. Number 2, Signs. Number 1, The Mist. Fantastic. I love doing these countdowns. It's always fun to get to spotlight some movies we don't usually get to talk about.
Yeah, no, I enjoy this a lot. I would enjoy it more if I wasn't looking at, my software update thing. Thankfully, it hasn't just fucking restarted me, but nonetheless.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. If you like what we do, you can always follow us on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. If you want to suggest films, give us feedback, you can always shoot us a message there or email us at filmgazm@gmail.com, or leave us some comments on YouTube. I always forget to plug YouTube. If you want to support
we have YouTube, that's right.
Yeah, we also have a website. I found that out recently.
We also have a new show coming at some point. Mm-hmm.
Yes. We're going to be announcing that. Actually, this is a good place to announce the announcement. We're going to be announcing the new show formally on our the Filmgazm episode the week of Christmas. So that's in a couple weeks.
Oh, a nice little Christmas present.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be
I'll say this much. We have the first episode in the can.
Yes.
So.
And it is fun. While the weather that day was a little chilly, we did have fun recording that episode. It was great. You guys are going to love that show. We already have decided it's our favorite show. So we're going to...
We made the unanimous decision.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, thanks for supporting the show. Any way you want to support it, we appreciate it. Next week is a big one. We've got our third MCU film of the year. No, fourth MCU.
Fourth.
Yeah. I forgot Black Widow. So Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home. 4. Well done, Marvel. So that's obviously our big priority. Also, we have Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley in theaters and Benjamin Cleary's drama Swan Song on Apple TV+. Also, Red Rocket gets a wider release, so hopefully one of us will get to watch that. I feel like I'm putting a lot of effort into this movie about a male porn star going home. I really want to see this damn movie. So don't miss the original 2002 Spider-Man on Wednesday's Filmgazm and the 2018 animated flick Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on Oscar Sunday. Spider-Man week. Have a great one and keep watching movies.